you can easily say that there is a pretty adverse reaction right now here in DC to the whole tariff situation. And there was definitely a lot of folks who are monitoring it, both in Congress and on the regulatory side. And even before the crash, there was some interest in algorithmic stablecoins for quite some time. However, I will say it was mostly largely focused on the single fiat-backed currency. So the USDCs, Tether in particular. Tether got a lot of attention here in DC. I did a few meetings with the Terra folks, as well as, I know the DAI folks have been on the Hill and a few other folks in the algorithmic space. But I will say that for the large part, Congress decided that we should take this one bite-sized chunk at a time. And so for the longest time, it was Libra that dominated the headlines. And then they moved over to USDC and Tether. And now algos have taken up a lot of the conversations. But candidly, most folks on Capitol Hill, they know algos are different from USDC, but they really don't know exactly that there's multiple types of algorithmic stablecoins out there. And they don't know the difference between like DAI, for example, and UST. So that's a lot on us on the lobbying side. We got to make sure we just at least educate the policymakers to understand that there is a difference between these folks. One thing I will highlight, though, in particular, is that Secretary Yellen of the Treasury testified in front of Congress in both the House and the Senate last week. And this is all during the crash. And so this is a lot of folks who are asking questions on this matter. A lot of it is really organic questions. These weren't planned questions or coming from different groups or organizations. These were just legitimate curiosity. What are you doing in this space when it comes to regulating stablecoins? And Secretary Yellen said multiple times, we came up with recommendations in the presidential working group. That's the Biden administration's plans to regulate stablecoins. But it's up to Congress, though, to pass those rules. And they don't have to exactly be what the Biden administration recommended. However, it needs to come from Congress. And Congress does act pretty slow. So there's a lot of pressure right now on Capitol Hill to act, but also there's a lot of pressure from folks on Capitol Hill to the regulators saying, we need you guys to prevent something like this from happening. And so it's kind of like, the catch-22 here. So do we go after actively the bad guys here, or those who are not being so truthful to investors? Or do we put together a framework here and at least understand what can and can't work in the United States? And I think that's more what Congress will be going towards, but there's a lot of politics in play, and that's been really complicating a lot of stuff.